Hello everyone and welcome to the weekly MMO news recap. My name is BrightLife, this is my fancy shirt, and friends, I have to tell you, I'm feeling saucy today. Positively tingly. Yes, Trent, I'm feeling saucy and tingly. No, not there, you pervert, in my fingers. I always get a good tingling in my fingers when we have so much good MMO news. We've got Elder Scrolls Online, big risk paying off this week. We've got Lord of the Rings unveiling new zones for its future mini expansion. We have Guild Wars 2 making some surprisingly interesting updates to the world versus world system, and so much more. Stick with us, friends, throughout this episode because there is a lot to cover and I'm very excited to jump into this news. And hey, before we get started, I just wanted to say a massive thank you to all of you guys who have made this such a fun experience. These news reports have been receiving record views on my channel, and so I just want to say thank you so much. If you don't mind, as a way of saying thank you back to me for doing the news, go ahead and hit that like button for me. It really helps more people around the platform see it. But without further ado, let's jump into our very first story, which is that the Elder Scrolls Online community hit 100% on the Heroes of the High Isle event that happened this last week, unlocking the Fire Song DLC for free for every owner of the High Isles that logs in before the end of the event. Now, this is such incredible news because last time we had a story about how Elder Scrolls Online was going to be giving away the new chapter for their DLC completely for free if the community completed this massive meta event across the world in helping people do some achievements throughout the High Isle. And they did it. This really motivated players. Not only were they able to receive some emotes, they were able to receive some cool chests and boxes and loot pieces and all that stuff. They actually received the next upcoming chapter for Elder Scrolls Online completely for free. This motivated veteran players to come and help new players complete their tasks. This, of course, also motivated new players to come in and actually complete these alongside the veterans, and in general just lifted the spirits of the Elder Scrolls Online community, which is a great thing. I absolutely love this story because Elder Scrolls Online, of course, could have released this next chapter just like they did every single other one, which was it was free for VIP members, but if you didn't have it, you'd have to pay some of the crowns from their in-game store. Instead, they decided to take a gamble and say, let's not make money from the Fire Song DLC. Let's actually just win more people over to our community. Well, they got me because over this last week, due to this news story, I actually downloaded the game myself and have been starting to play through High Isle. I'm going to be playing a little bit this week on stream, so be sure to come join me. But it's inspired people like me and some members of my community Discord to actually come back to the game because I think this is a great move. So ZeniMax, you win our Developer of the Week award. Congratulations. This was such a great move and I am so proud of you guys. And honestly, if just for this alone, I would say now is the time to go try Elder Scrolls Online before the Fire Song DLC comes out. Now, unfortunately, not all is sunshine and roses in the Elder Scrolls Online department because with Google shutting down their Stadia platform, the Elder Scrolls Online is offering a transfer to PC with progression intact. Now, that may sound good, but the community response has not quite been so positive. Elder Scrolls released a statement saying that we are happy to share that our Stadia players will be able to transfer their ESO accounts to PC, bringing with them all their progress, including but not limited to existing characters, purchased items, achievements, and inventory. Since Stadia players already play ESO on our PC servers, all of their friends and guilds will be waiting for them once they have completed the transfer. Now, this was the extent of the announcement. It was done on Twitter, and without any details of the transfer process, we can't really know how this is going to work, but it has left a lot of players frustrated in the Twitter sphere. And of course, this isn't just normal Twitter madness. This actually does have some merit to it as opposed to some people just raging on Twitter. Yes, Trent, I know you have a Twitter. No, that's exactly why I made that joke, because I've seen your Twitter. It's crazy. But folks on Twitter were a little bit frustrated because for them, Stadia, which if you don't know is played with typically a mobile phone or an iPad with a controller, the most logical jump from Stadia was not necessarily to a PC, but was to a console because they're playing with a controller. And when you play with a controller, you typically think console. And when you are someone who's getting Stadia, which typically tends to be a little bit on the cheaper side, and with a monthly subscription, you're normally not looking for $1,000 plus PC. You're probably going to be looking in the range of somewhere around that $400 or $500 game system platform. And I can completely understand this logic because typically a controller does equal game systems. It means Xbox, it means PlayStation 4, or maybe even Nintendo Switch. I don't think Elder Scrolls Online is on Switch yet, but I'm all about it. Hashtag ESO on Switch. I would go for it. Super Smash Brothers, Elder Scrolls Online, Breath of the Wild. 3 reasons to own a Switch right there, baby. Hashtag ESO on Switch. Let's make it happen, community. But so we're gonna have to see how this pans out. Unfortunately, I know with their mega servers being PC-centric and platform-centric, it can be kind of hard to understand how this would work, but I get it, but it's gotta be really frustrating for those Stadia players. Rest in peace to you guys. All right, our next story comes to us from the world of Lord of the Rings Online, in that the Lord of the Rings Online set out some previews of their lore-rich regions of Swanfleet and Cardolan coming this November in the Before the Shadow expansion. Now, this is a very exciting thing for me personally. I love this game. A lot of my audience loves the Lord of the Rings Online, and if you haven't tried this game in a while, now might be one of the best times to return to it because there is a new mini expansion coming out in November featuring the 2 zones of Swanfleet and Cardolan for levels 1 through 32, really revamping that new player experience, and this is really exciting. Now, Swanfleet is loaded with history, and the region was once the home to historically great cities, both of which now stand in ruins. As such, there are older structures and ruins to be found in your exploration because after these cities fell, there was also the city of Tharbad, held by the Dunedain, but also has now been lost over the past century. Now, Cardolan, Sindarin for Red Hill Country, is the name of one of the 3 kingdoms into which Arnor was divided in the 3rd Age. Cardolan was bound to the west by the Brandywine River, and to the east by the Horwell River, and to the east and south by the Grey Flood River as well, and to the north by the Great East Road. It was thus the southernmost division of what was once the Kingdom of Arnor. Now, these are really exciting zones, and as I saw these previews, I was very impressed because for me personally, when I read about these zones, I was more excited about Cardolan. I was excited about this lore-rich area, and I'm sure it's still going to be a great zone, but the world building of Swanfleet looks amazing. I mean, just look at this incredible zone. I mean, this is a 15-year-old game built on a 15-year-old game engine, but they still manage in their world building to make me want to go and experience it. And I think this is one of the big strengths of Lord of the Rings Online. The graphics may not necessarily be at a World of Warcraft level, but it still manages to tell a story with its zone building, and I think that they deserve props for that. I know me personally, I'm very excited to jump into this game on November 9th. It is releasing with the Before the Shadow expansion, which is going to cost around $19. But if you're interested in this game and you'd like to try it out for yourself, we're actually going to be doing a giveaway on my stream every Thursday through until the expansion releases of 1 copy of Before the Shadow releasing, with this Thursday actually being the Ultimate Fan Bundle, which is the $100 bundle with all the cosmetics, the mount, all of that stuff. So if you'd like to try the game out and you just want to win it and see if you can get it, come by the stream. Link is in the description down below. But me personally, I'm very excited about both of these zones. Lord of the Rings Online has always done a fantastic job with zone building, so I'm excited to see what this one brings. What do you think? Are you excited for Lord of the Rings Online? Let me know in the comments down below if you are. All right, now our next story comes to me from one of my favorite MMORPGs out there, which is Guild Wars 2. Guild Wars 2's roadmap details were announced for the rest of 2022, and it brings with it a lot of really exciting things. Now, for me, Guild Wars 2 is kind of like the good guys of the MMO universe. It's just such a great company. You only pay a box price. You'll never pay a sub fee. This game really isn't pay to win because the gold that you can buy really is only able to be used to kind of buy cosmetic stuff. I really like their system, and I think that ArenaNet deserves a lot of credit for them, and I really view them as one of the good guys, kind of like I view myself as one of the good guys. Now, in the upcoming roadmap plan, we've got updated profession balancing, with the team wanting to use future profession balance updates to include all game modes. This will still get the same communications transparency that ArenaNet has promised in the past, with full notes scheduled to be posted for feedback a few weeks before the update. There are new legendary weapons coming, with the first set of available weapon skins that you'll be able to craft will be based on the elder dragon Zaitan, who led a horrible destruction and corruption across Tyria. Known as the Dragon of Death and Shadow, Zaitan raised the nation of Or and led undead minions and corrupt factions, leaving destruction behind. Of course, it wouldn't be an upcoming fall and winter without events. You can expect the Shadow of the Mad King event to return on October 18th with new rewards, including new weapons and decorations, and Winter's Day will also be back from December 13th to January 3rd, and this will also come with some new content as well. And for me, I love the events in Guild Wars 2. I think that Lord of the Rings Online probably takes the cake for who does events the best, but Guild Wars 2 is like right underneath them, and that's saying a lot. I think that both of those do events really well, but of course the stuff that I'm most excited about is the World vs. World content. When I first played World vs. World way back in the day, it was groundbreaking in my opinion, and I still have the game downloaded on my PC just to play World vs. World. It really is that good in my opinion. Essentially, the new World vs. World revamp that's coming is going to add two major things to the game. The first one is, instead of world shards, so it actually being the world shard versus world shard, there are going to be teams formed. And this is in a beta process right now, but the idea is that you will be able to join a team of individuals or auto-select a team to play against other teams in World vs. World. Now, this will still be massive, large battles, but it's going to be World vs. World that's not locked down based on your world shard. I think the idea here is that they're probably going to try to get rid of servers, because servers kind of are a thing of the past in my opinion. I think that having a large mega server like Elder Scrolls Online does is a lot more simple for the player and allows them to play with their friend much easier. But either way, this team system is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how they balance this. Now, at the end of every season, they will completely shuffle the teams. They'll be completely new, but I'm interested to see if some of like the hardcore sweaty World vs. World players all gravitate towards like Team 3 or Team 4, and that's just what they choose every single time, and it kind of becomes known as the dominant team. I don't know how that's going to work. I'm sure ArenaNet's thinking of that stuff. They're much smarter than I am, so that's going to be exciting. And the other one is the alliance system. Now, currently, whenever you go and play with friends in your guild in World vs. World, you get rewards. Well, unfortunately, most guilds in Guild Wars 2 typically do tend to be either World vs. World PvP focused, or they tend to be kind of PvE focused and not both. Well, the way this is going to work is for those PvE guilds that have some people that like to play, they're actually going to be alliances, which are groups of guilds over on the PvP side, which is going to allow you to still unlock those achievements. It's going to allow you to unlock additional achievements. But the idea behind this is that little guilds that are, you know, friends and family can get together with and form a much larger collective to go into the World vs. World environment with. And I will tell you, as someone who's played with 4 or 5 friends at a time in a guild, it's really, really fun to go run through the world and try to hunt people down. But as soon as the Zerg runs over you, you know you're done for. Well, I think this is going to be a cool way, and it's going to add a new community dynamic to the World vs. World system that I love. So I'm going to keep you posted on this one because I'm very interested in Guild Wars 2. It's one of my favorite MMOs to play, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. Are you excited for these revamps? Are you excited for the roadmap of things coming up? And if you have experience with Guild Wars 2, let me know in the comments below. I'd actually really love to hear your story. Now, for every good guy in the MMO space, there unfortunately must be a bad guy, and that is why our next story comes from highly and fully pay-to-win Lost Ark. Now, no offense to those of you guys that love Lost Ark, but you gotta be honest, you are the villain of this narrative right now. Because of course Lost Ark is extraordinarily pay to win, but it seems like its systems might be coming to bite it in the butt, because Lost Ark is merging servers yet again. The second round of server merges for Lost Ark are set to begin on October 12th. This phase will once again result in servers merging and then getting new names. In Western Europe, Rithramus and Tortoik will merge and become Aline. Aline? How would British people say that? Rithramus and Tortak will become Aline. I don't mean to alienate the British audience, but you know, USA baby. For South America, the same process will happen with the following servers merging and taking on a new name. Agaton and Vern will merge and become Arthetine, and Guinea and Arcturus will merge and become Blackfang. And Blackfang sounds like a cartel, which for the good news, South America has had zero experience with, so they wouldn't know, but it sounds like a cool cartel name in my opinion. Now, server merges of course do tend to raise eyebrows. It makes you think those servers aren't populated. Why aren't they populated? What's going on? And so when I went over to Steam charts, I was actually very impressed. Now, of course, a healthy number of people still do very much play Lost Ark. It's still a very popular game, but it has actually dropped in population by quite a bit. Lost Ark has lost 68.2% of its player base since May, not launch. This was actually 3 months after launch. May had seen a large rise in players, and then it has dropped by 68.2% with a steady decrease each month. Now, there was a slight raise this last month, especially with the new class coming out, but it's interesting to see this game kind of starting to settle down and kind of see a downward trend. I don't know what that's going to mean for the future of Lost Ark, but I know that when I played, I loved playing up until the point that I really did have to pay or not be able to actually play the game very much, which I really don't like that trend in MMOs. I've been very open about that, but I guess that's just kind of what goes down. But Lost Ark is not going to give up without a fight because they've released their roadmap over the next coming months, and there is a lot to see here. The first month of the roadmap, October, reveals the Mystic Abyss raid, which is an event raid featuring the Guardian Mystic. This raid has 3 phases and will only be around for the event period. And then right after that, there will be the Vicos Inferno mode. This is considered to be the first real ultimate adjacent raid, and the raid, I've heard, is no joke. This is going to be very, very difficult unless you pay like $100,000, in which case I'm sure for you it's going to be very easy. Lastly, there will be a season 2 of Arc Pass, which is a battle pass. Oh my gosh, how much money are these guys making? Like, Trent, how much money are these people making? Wait, you said that you're eye level 1500? Trent, did you pay to win? You should be ashamed of yourself. Which Arc Pass is a battle pass that typically gives a lot of materials, some skins, potion boxes, and other goodies. And for November, we'll also be getting the Reaper Advanced class, with Reaper being an extremely fast-paced, high damage yet squishy and high skill class. For those looking for a true assassin playstyle, this one will be for you. And then lastly, in Lost Ark, the Brel Shaza Normal is a 6-gate, 8-player raid that marks the beginning of the 2.0 section of Tier 3. Gates 1 and 2 are 1490, gates 3 and 4 are 1500, and gates 5 and 6, 1520. There is also a practice mode called Deja Vu that can be done at 1430. This is an extremely pivotal part of your character progression, as it's marked what's called a soft reset. You don't lose progress, but the means to progress are completely changed. You will need new stones, leap stones, and fusion materials in order to hone your gear. That's crazy. They're gonna make you buy more stuff in Lost Ark, man. Holy cow. Hey, if you love the game, no hate to you. That to me is wild. Now, our next story is very interesting and exciting, and one that I'm very personally interested in, and it is that New World is actually launching fresh start servers with the new Brimstone Sands update, and it's doing it in a very interesting way. Now, before we talk about the fresh start servers, I want to talk about Brimstone Sands, which last week, of course, got its release date of October 18th. The update, which has been in testing over on the PTR for several weeks, will finally move to bring the new huge zone of Brimstone Sands to the game, along with an expedition, a new weapon, the Great Sword, and the new Heart Gem rune system, and an all-new revamped starting experience. New World has actually seen incredible population growth alongside some capacity boosts for existing servers ahead of the coming update. With this came the opening of a handful of new servers across several different regions. And now we know just when the update will arrive, which is, of course, October 18th. And I'm very excited for this. I did try this game out on the PTR. I didn't want to ruin the whole 1 to 30 experience for myself, but I got up to like level 13 or 14. It blew me away. I did a whole video on it. You should go check it out. But my community and I over on our community Discord are absolutely going to be playing this, especially when this update launches. If you want to go join that Discord, if you're looking for someone to play New World with, please go ahead and click the link for the Discord down below. But it was a very interesting thing to see how they're going to roll out the fresh start servers, because as soon as Amazon announced the Brimstone Sands thing, a lot of people really just wanted to have a fresh start. They wanted to start at a brand new server with brand new economy, no big economical giants or powerhouse giants that have been playing this game, even when it's been terrible, because they're probably masochists. Honestly, this game has been so bad for so long, but it's getting better and it makes me very excited. Now, Amazon did cave or do what the players asked, and they're going to add these fresh start servers, but not at the time of release. They're actually going to add these fresh servers on November 2nd, which is 2 weeks after the release of the game. Now, this is a very interesting call because, of course, for most people, they wanted a fresh start server because they were very excited to play the game at launch. They wanted to play the Brimstone Sands update, and with all the hype jumping into these fresh start servers, which honestly makes sense. They were really excited to do that. I was one of those personally. But I kind of get why Amazon is doing this. And I think the reason is probably the Wrath of the Lich King launch. Now, if you don't know, Wrath of the Lich King launched brand new fresh start servers as well for its Burning Crusade expansion leading into the pre-patch of the Wrath of the Lich King, which has since come out. And it was a nightmare. So many people were excited to play fresh start. They were so excited to get on the hype and try to be the ones to hit world first and all of those things, that these servers actually became some of the most flooded servers in the population. And with no transfers on or off, People got locked behind 3 and 4 hour queues just to get into these fresh start servers to level from like level 1, which was crazy. And so I can see how Amazon does not want to take the risk of the Wrath of the Lich King launch. I think that World of Warcraft and Wrath are both huge names that are pretty well trusted, especially the Wrath of the Lich King expansion. They could probably weather that storm. New World does not have that kind of clout. It does not have that kind of trust with its people, and this needs to be a good launch. So I can understand how right now what they're doing in this is they're kind of giving the people what they want while trying to make sure that the launch goes as smoothly as possible. So I personally won't be playing on a fresh start server. I will be rolling a new character as soon as Brimstone Sands come out. And I will be rolling a brand new character over in Alcumea, which is one of the US West servers. If you want to come join us, you're totally welcome to. We'll have like a guild group or whatever you call it in that game. I don't even know. I should do better research. Shut up, Trent. But hey, do you think this is a good idea? What do you think? It seems like kind of a gamble in my opinion, but at the same time trying to play it safe. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And for those of you that are interested in jumping in right now, there is actually an experience boost running up until October 17th, right before this update comes out. So it's a good time to jump back into New World. I'm really excited to see how this goes. Well, hey, speaking of fresh servers, old school RuneScape. That's right, good old school RuneScape is getting fresh start servers on October 19th of this month on an opt-in basis. Now, old school RuneScape is a great game. I love that it's mobile now. This was the first MMO that I ever played. I actually got the Abyssal Whip and like the Dragon Dagger Super way back in the day. That's right, I'm awesome. And I remember it was so much fun to play this game, and they're actually getting fresh start servers, allowing players to jump back in for the first time since old school RuneScape launch. They're going to be able to jump back in at level 1, which is very exciting. However, they are doing something, again, quite interesting with fresh start servers. Now, first of all, it's an opt-in basis thing. You have to go and actually opt in on their website. But the second thing that's interesting is after 6 months, they will roll them back into the mega server of RuneScape Worlds. Now, if you've played old school RuneScape, you know that as soon as you log in, you actually get to choose worlds out of like 1 through 150. And those are kind of like the little world servers that you get to jump in on, but your character is not locked to one of those worlds. Well, the way that they're solving this is for 6 months, you won't be able to jump out of the fresh start servers, but after 6 months, those servers are actually going to roll into those worlds and actually add to the population. I personally think this is a really cool idea. It allows people to still chase world first and be able to level up with their friends without threat of, higher leveled players on there. It allows you to really prog and race to the end. It's really cool. I think it's a cool thing, but then you feed into the main group of players at the end of that, which I think will be a really good thing. So very excited to see how this one goes. I actually think this is a really cool system, so way to go old school RuneScape. Now let me know if you guys are playing old school RuneScape in the comments below. Maybe we should group up. I love that game. I just haven't played it in forever. And hey friends, I have a brand new segment for you called the MMO Moron of the Week Award, which highlights the dumbest people in MMO sphere. This one comes out of the war-torn region of Ukraine, screw you Putin, go Ukraine, where a Russian soldier who was captured by Ukrainian forces claims to have enlisted in the Russian army because he owed a massive debt to World of Tanks. That's right. Making the rounds is a viral video that has a Russian soldier who was captured by Ukrainian forces explain what he was doing in Russia's absolutely ridiculous invasion of the company. Screw you, Putin. And the reason is to pay off a criminal debt that he was slapped with for buying World of Tanks microtransactions with someone else's credit card details. The POW in the video admits that he found someone's bank card in a store, stole it, and then used it to buy 5,000 rubles worth of things in the military shooter. Now this just seems like the winner of the internet, so MMO Moron of the Week goes to this individual who spent all of his money on World of Tanks. Now our next story comes from Tower of Fantasy, which is getting its Vera update coming on October 20th, with Steam launching on the same day. The Vera expansion will bring 2 distinct new areas to full life: the vast irradiated desert Gabi, and within its center, the cyberpunk-inspired city of Moriria. The latest teaser for Vera references that the conflict and fragility between the real world and the dangers, but also the possibilities within. Vera will also include a number of new vehicles and new weapons to get your hands on, and you'll need them to get by in the new environments. The teaser also shows off some new characters coming to the game: Lin, Ruby, and Saki Fua. Now, I personally played Tower of Fantasy when it first came out along with everybody else, and it was very impressive on two fronts. One, how actually good the story was. In Tower of Fantasy, the story was actually quite good. I found myself quite moved at one of the points. I won't spoil it for you. And it is free. It's on your phone, which is pretty cool. But the second thing is, man, the vehicles are ridiculous in this game. Like, the first vehicle you get is like a motorcycle. You're going around with like a great sword slashing at people, and then you get a motorcycle. It's awesome. I really enjoyed that game for the time that I played it. It's not my favorite game I've ever played, but if you haven't tried Tower of Fantasy out yet, you might as well try it. Well, and while there was word that the game would come to Steam soon, we now know that that will happen on October 20th and will include the Vera update. Now, the Tower of Fantasy team will host a special stream on Vera on October 13th at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time with a look at everything coming in the update, so you can be sure to follow them on Twitch over on the Tower of Fantasy official stream. Well, folks, that about wraps it up for me here at the MMO Weekly News. I want to say a massive thank you again to all of you guys that watched here to the end. If you liked the video, please go on ahead and leave it a like. It helps more people see it. If you don't mind, if you loved it, please subscribe to the channel as well. We're on a big push to 3,000 subscribers. I'm really pumped for that. Thank you guys all for your incredible support. I want to say a massive thanks to our patrons who helped this channel not only survive but thrive. That list has grown since last week, and I want to say thank you so much to all of you guys that are jumping into that Patreon. They get the videos actually early, so if you'd like to get these videos a day early, you can go on ahead and jump into that as well at the link in the description. But as always, friends, the last two things that I say are the most important things that I could possibly say in any video ever. It's that you're more loved than you know, and you are so much more valuable than you realize. I hope you have an incredible day, and I will see you in the next one. Hey, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it. I want to let you know a couple ways to connect with me. First of all, we got an awesome Discord in the description. We've got a Patreon if you'd like to give to the channel and help support more video creation. And I am live on Twitch quite often over at twitch.tv/brightlifecommunity. Would love to see you there. Always love interacting on those live video streams. But I hope you have an incredible day, my loved and valued friend. Have an awesome one.